We start at 5 with a live look outside over Denver, atop Mile High in downtown. The warm temperatures are back in full force. It was beautiful today. The snow is melting and people are taking advantage, both getting outside down here in Denver and getting out to the slopes up in the high country. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Jennifer Meckles. As we get ready for your work week, those warmer temps, they're going to stick around for a bit. Corey Reppenhagen joins us now for a look at kind of this real swing, if you will, in weather. My goodness, from Friday to now.
I know, we're right back into the swing of warm, dry conditions going through the next 7 days. But that drink of water, man, it came in just the right time. Taking a live camera shot here over Logan County, just south of Sterling. You can see this. There was quite a bit of snow on this field just 2 days ago, and it is all seeped in. You can see that looks like maybe winter wheat coming out of dormancy, getting that drink of water at just the right time when it needed it the most. Current temperatures here across the city, we hit 70 degrees here in downtown at the 9 News studio. Only 65 out at DIA, however. It's always just a little bit cooler out there at the airport. Tomorrow's low temperatures, we're going to start out a little bit on the mild side, and that'll get us into the 70s, most likely, staying below freezing for low temperatures tomorrow morning. So here's your next 3 days here in Denver. It's warm and dry. We do have a cold front coming here. I'll talk about mud season continues tomorrow. The snow melt and the mud will be the issue here across most of the Front Range. We'll start to get the winds kicking up. We'll have a cold front come in Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We could maybe see a sprinkle of rain out of that, maybe a flurry in the mountains. Not a lot of precipitation, but we'll notice the wind both Tuesday night and Wednesday. I'll talk about what's lying ahead there in the forecast coming up in just a few minutes, Jenny.
Corey, thanks. A snowmobiler was reported missing and then later died in an avalanche in Eagle County, which now marks the first avalanche death of the season. That snowmobiler was reported missing in the Boss Basin area last night, not far from Copper Mountain, kind of right on the county line between Summit and Eagle. When first responders got there, they found an avalanche with ski and snowmobile tracks nearby. Today, they confirmed the victim, David Pickett Heaps, died. We don't know much about him at this point. We're just learning this information. Colorado Avalanche Information Center says the slide was near the tree line of the northeast-facing slope, about 2 feet deep. The Summit County Sheriff's Office is now investigating. There was also a second avalanche that rescue crews had to respond to today. This was in the backcountry near Mount Quandary, south of Breckenridge. Colorado Avalanche Information Center says in this one, 3 skiers were leaving the North London Mill hut when the group noticed some cracking. They spread out, but the avalanche broke above the group and caught 2 of them. One got partially buried at the hip. Both were able to get out. Nobody was injured. Tonight, the family of a 15-year-old killed in Aurora last week is holding a vigil for him. 15-year-old Xavier Dominguez died from apparent gunshot wounds last Saturday. This happened near Alameda Avenue and Havana Street. Family members shared photos with us today ahead of the vigil. Police believe Dominguez and the suspect knew each other. There was some kind of an argument, and police say it led to gunfire. The suspect ran off. Police have not released any information about a suspect, and we reached out to police today to ask for any updates. They said there's no updates in this case. A pedestrian was seriously injured after a hit and run in Denver this morning. Denver police posted about the crash around 1:30 in the morning, said it happened at North Colorado Boulevard and East 35th near Park Hill Park. DPD says the person who was walking was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and the driver in the car that hit them drove off. We've reached out to DPD asking for more information about the person hurt and if they have any suspect information. No updates at this point. A man who was arrested for a violent jewelry store heist in Denver will be back in court tomorrow, this time on state charges. Jean Torres faces several state charges, including first-degree murder, attempted aggravated robbery, and menacing. During a robbery last June, employees were beaten at gunpoint. $4 million worth of jewelry was stolen. In December, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Colorado says they indicted 2 Tren de Aragua gang leaders who approved the jewelry store heist and ordered that money to be moved. The suspect in this case was already sentenced to 19 years in prison for federal charges. Now Torres will be in Denver District Court tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. for an arraignment on state charges. Officials are investigating after some kind of an explosion caused a little bit of damage, just minor, to the embassy in Oslo, Norway. You're looking at video of the scene outside the embassy as officials are looking through that site. This all happened early this morning. Thick smoke blew up into the street, according to eyewitnesses. The justice minister in Norway say they have now launched an investigation. Police said the blast could be linked to an ongoing security situation, but they've not identified any suspects. There were several protests across the weekend about the war in Iran. In Boston, people gathered in support of the war, saying it was a long-awaited moment of liberation. In LA, protesters who are against U.S. involvement in the Middle East, they gathered on the steps of City Hall in Los Angeles. All of this comes as President Trump says the U.S. will hit Iran even harder unless the remaining country leaders surrender. Today, U.S. Central Command says a 7th U.S. service member has been killed in the war. A statement online on X reads, quote, "Last night a U.S. service member passed away from injuries received during the Iranian regime's initial attacks across the Middle East. The service member was seriously wounded at the scene of an attack on U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia on March 1st. The statement continues, this is the 7th service member killed in action during Operation Epic Fury. Major combat operations continue. And within the last hour, Iran officials have announced a new supreme leader. State media reported that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, his son Mojtaba Khamenei, that the son was chosen to take his father's place. President Donald Trump previously said that would be an unacceptable selection.
And you want to be involved in the selection of the next leader of Iran. Can you talk to me?
Well, because I don't want to just come back every 10 years, and mostly you'll have presidents, that won't do that because they don't get it. But we don't want to come back every 5 years or every 10 years and do this, so we want to pick a president that's not going to be leading their country into a war.
Israel has already vowed to target the new supreme leader.